Hey Side Dishes, today I want to talk about cocooning. Do you know what it is? Stay tuned and we'll talk. So a term that I've been hearing kind of kicked around lately is cocooning, and I've been hearing the term about parents who cocoon their child. As I kind of looked into it further, I could see, what the term meant. I've heard about helicopter parents. Well, now I've been hearing about cocooning. As I was looking into it a little bit more and people were explaining it to me and I was kind of seeing it out and about, I just wanted to discuss my thoughts on cocooning. So cocooning is the term that means that you have a child, usually with a disability, and the parents really cocoon the child, like they keep the child very safe in a very enclosed, bubble safe place, and don't make the child do anything that's uncomfortable, doesn't make the child go out to a lot of different places. They really just make a safe space for their child where the child never gets upset or is unhappy or has to do anything that they don't want to do, really never has to stretch their wings. As I was, just hearing more and more about this and hearing stories of it and, just reading people, moms who are telling their stories on Instagram and Facebook about this type of parenting, it made me think that I had a lot to say about it. And so I wanted to talk about cocooning. I think that it is a really big mistake for a parent to cocoon their child, to try to keep them, safe. So I think we've all heard somebody say, oh, I've lived a sheltered life. So it's kind of like that, but to an extreme. I've been hearing about parents who have a child with autism and they homeschool their child. They allow their child to wear whatever their child wants to wear. They let their child eat whatever their child wants to eat. Basically, their goal for the whole day is for the child never to be upset or to cry or to feel uncomfortable. And while it seems noble and you have to applaud those parents for being so sensitive and for wanting to keep their child in a safe place, if you really think about it, it's really not benefiting the child. Because when you think about the whole butterfly metaphor, the butterfly is in a cocoon and then it has to stretch his wings and then he'll fly. Well, I think it's the same thing for our children with autism. We know that our kids take a lot more time generally to learn something. They have to practice things over and over again. And if we just, kept our child in the safe little bubble where they were never upset about anything, they would never have the opportunity to try new things, to spread their wings, and to break out of that cocoon. I don't want parents to look and think the measure of a great day is Johnny didn't get upset, Johnny didn't cry, Johnny, didn't yell. Because it's good that Johnny got upset and Johnny cried and Johnny yelled, because it means that he cares about something, like all of us. If something was going on in our life and we weren't happy about it, we'd complain, we'd make noise, we would try to change it. So it means that we care enough. I think it's really important to, always try to push your child a little bit. And if you keep pushing, you're going to make those baby steps, and eventually your child will be able to do a whole lot more. So I have this example. I was the executive director of a school in Massachusetts, and I found the school to be very bland. It was all white walls, and it just felt so clinical, and it didn't feel warm and inviting. And I like color and warm and inviting and fuzzy sprinkles, sparkles. That's what I like. But the school was just very white and very drab and very clinical. So we picked out some paint colors, and one of the paint colors that we picked out was a very beautiful light yellow. And so a lot of the walls were painted yellow. Well, I had this mother who, was very upset that the walls were painted yellow. She came in and told me her son did not like the color yellow. He was very upset about it. And when was I going to repaint the walls white? And I told her, I'm never repainting the walls white. The walls are yellow now. And, her son, after a week or two, guess what? He got used to the color yellow, and the color yellow wasn't a problem for him anymore. But if we kept, if we said, oh, we always have to go back to these sterile white, conditions, he would never, learn to tolerate new things. So again, it's hard when we see our child cry and be upset about not wanting to try something. But again, it's, we have to push them or they will never leave the cocoon. And we could have a 20-year-old child with autism who's afraid to do things and who's never had an opportunity to go out and try things. So in my family, with my son, we always had the rule that he had to try something at least once before he could say he doesn't like it, or he doesn't know how to do it, or he's not good at it. And just yesterday, I asked my son to stir some coffee, and he said, "I'm not good at stirring." And it's like, well, you don't have to take a class to stir. And I said, well, let's just go practice. You have to stir. And I, made him, he was afraid he was going to splash, but I, made him stir. And he's like, okay, I guess I can stir. It's like, yep. And so he will throw that at me all the time, that he's not good at something, he doesn't like doing something. And we do that all the time. Somebody will say, hey, Mary, will you clean the bathroom? I'm not good at cleaning bathrooms, hoping that they won't ask me to clean the bathroom. Same thing with our kids. We have to just, it's like, well, I'm gonna make you good at cleaning that bathroom because we're gonna practice. So it's the same thing. So when my son was younger, every summer he would go to camp and he'd bring a little helper along, and he had to try a new activity. And and if he if he gave it a try and he truly didn't like it, he didn't have to do it again, but he at least had to try. And I mean, after 5 years of him going to camp every year, he was zip lining, he was climbing the rock tower, he was doing so many things that if we didn't kind of push him, he would have never tried and he would never have grown. I know just a couple months ago, for the first time, my son had guacamole and tried guacamole and liked it. Ugh, I don't like guacamole. I wouldn't eat it because it's green and I think it's disgusting looking. But he tried it and he found out that he liked it. So I think that's really what I'm just talking about, is while, don't measure the day of a day being good as your child not having, any discourse or any unsatisfaction, because that's not life. Measure the day by that your child tried something new, they held a crayon, they pet a dog, they dipped their toe into the swimming pool, they wore a pair of jeans, they put on a pair of socks, something, even if it's just for a couple minutes. Stretch them, make them break out of their cocoon so they can spread their wings and fly and have the best life and live to their fullest potential. So please share how you pushed your child and how they had success from that little nudge that you gave them. We'd all love to hear about it. Please comment below and don't forget to like and follow Life with a Side of Autism. Take care.